I want to expose why the Earth is flat from a pilot's perspective. This is disclassified pilot's information. This is the contract, the paperwork that you have to sign when you become a pilot. Let's take a look at what's inside of it. All right, so this is the flight dynamic symmetry. This is the handbook that you get to become a pilot that you have to sign when you're done with the classes. Right off the rip, you get a bang. There is a flat Earth. There is a non-rotating Earth. The aircraft has constant mass. The aircraft is a rigid body. All throughout this curriculum, they talk about a flat Earth. They do it again right here. It talks about, in this situation, how this relationship is correct for a flat Earth in a flat atmosphere. Now, it talks about a flat, non-rotating plane throughout this whole entire course, but what really gets me, the kicker, is they make you sign this at the end, and look what it says. This document contains information affecting the national defense of the United States within the meaning of the Espionage Laws, Title 18 U.S.C. Section 793 and 794. Its transmission or the revelation to its contents in any manner to unauthorized person is prohibited by law. They have to sign this paperwork at the end of their course to get a license that says they will not disclose anything. It's against the law if they do. So remember that. Remember that next time you soak in the indoctrination.
Have you heard the rumor going around about pilots? That they actually know the Earth is flat and they've made an oath to keep it a secret from us.
How long have you been a pilot for? 43 years. Wow. What shape is the planet? Flat. We're supposed to keep it a secret.
It seems like they're just telling jokes, but have you seen this? This is an actual flight manual. You can find this PDF online, and when you take a closer look, it's got some strange things in it. Look at this. Flat Earth. Yeah, flat Earth, non-rotating Earth. Wait a minute. Supposedly this next part comes from an anonymous pilot who said this is the contents of the last page in flight school that they have to sign. So this rumor I cannot verify, but they say that when a pilot signs at the end of flight school, there's this little portion that basically says what happens in flight school stays in flight school, and if you were to talk about some of the things in the manual, well, it's a matter of national security. I don't know. Seems a little strange, but if this were true, no pilot would be able to talk about it. But the flight manual itself was actually pretty easy to find, and it admits a flat, non-rotating Earth.
This is insane. Watch.
Seashore. Go to a seashore and figure out why you can't, if you live on the East Coast, figure out why you can't see Spain from the East Coast of North America.
Oh, so Bill Nye is saying if the Earth is flat, if someone's standing here and then standing here, they would be able to see it, right? Even if it's hundreds of miles apart? But no, that is blatantly wrong. He's basically lying. And I can prove that by this picture. Everything that you see in the distance goes down to a horizon. For example, this hallway, it's the same distance from the floor to the ceiling all the way down. But look how it gets smaller at the end because it's farther away. That's exactly what would happen on this map. But he's saying the reason you can't see from so far away is because the Earth is bending over and you can't see on that other side of the bend. Everything goes to horizon. Is he blatantly lying or does he just not know?
And seeing as they're probably not going to do that, we're going to do it for them. Here's my beautiful Bible. Look how pretty that is. Such a lovely Bible. Given to me by Mr. David Shane. Yeah. Humble servant of God, May 23rd, 2023. I actually received it on May 25th, oddly enough, which is my late mother's birthday. Thank you, David Shane, once again. So let's go ahead and see what this says. Genesis 1, verse 6. Then God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. Thus God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven. So the evening and the morning were the second day. Now, let's look at this over here. Genesis 1:14. Then God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heavens, not in outer space, to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and seasons. Our calendar, go figure, and for days and years. and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heavens to give light on the earth. And it was so. Then God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day. He didn't say he made one light that gave its light to the other. No. Two lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. God set them in the firmament of the heavens to give light on earth, not in outer space, and to rule over the day and over the night, and divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. So the evening and the morning were the fourth day. So what's your take on that? Does it say anywhere there to lead you to believe that we're a spinning rocket ball in outer space? Or does it say that the firmament is heaven and it divides the waters from the waters? So that would mean what's beyond the firmament is water, not an empty vacuum, okay? And if the firmament is heaven, you can't get through it with the rocket ship. Sorry, folks, park's closed. And without further ado, stupid, bang!
I don't know why I'm just finding out about this, but did you know 99% of our communication and internet is run through underwater sea cables? Also, did you notice that there is no cables that run from South America to Africa and from Africa to Australia? Like if we live on a globe, why aren't there that run from here to here, here to here? I think I know why. Back to the map, so think of Australia as 1, Africa as 2, and South America as 3. So here we have the Gleason's map, and the reason you won't find any cables that run from Australia to South America to Africa is, look how far they are. But bro, what about this and this? It makes perfect sense on a flat earth map, here to here and here to here. Over 99% of international data traffic is transmitted through underwater sea cables. But what about satellites? As satellites currently carry just about 1% of global internet traffic, the remaining 99% is carried by undersea cables. Also, this is a little weird.
Am I the only one, or has anyone else thought of why would the astronauts have their star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame? Why are they actors?
So here's the problem I have. You see this sphere? Now it involves non-Euclidean geometry. In order to navigate on a sphere, you need to know non-Euclidean geometry. And here's the problem. Here's the problem I'm having. That was not invented until like the mid to late 1800s, guys. Mid to late 1800s, we did not know how to navigate on a sphere. A bunch of mathematicians had to get together, and they had to try to prove Euclid wrong. In fact, it was denying Euclidean geometry is what brought spherical geometry in the first place. That's actually the definition of it. So, all these mathematicians came together and they're like, let's figure something out here, dude. Let's just get rid of Euclid's fifth postulate, the parallel postulate, and they came up with this spherical geometry. It's kind of cool, nothing wrong with it, except it doesn't work. We don't live on a sphere. Actually, in fact, non-Euclidean geometry only works on a perfect sphere. Formulas such as the Haber sign and as such. So here's my question. Non-Euclidean geometry was not invented until the mid to late 1800s. It wasn't even put to use until the 1900s-ish. It's where you get your great circles, all these navigations. This can't be a projection. Even the Mercator's map can't be a projection because we didn't have the geometry to do that yet. Oh boy, it's a projection. All these maps we didn't have non-Euclidean geometry yet. We didn't know how to do all that stuff, guys. So, answer me that. I mean, if it wasn't invented, how the hell did people navigate for thousands of years on a two-dimensional surface? This was after the longitude problem was solved. They didn't even come up with non-Euclidean until the longitude problem was solved. The longitude problem was solved way back, way before that. And people used the sun. They use time, the sun, Greenwich, England, you know, where I am in Michigan here, GMT 5. That's my zone, GMT 5. So, keep that in mind. Non-Euclidean geometry was not invented until that time, mid to late 1800s, not even put to use until the 1900s. Pretty stupid, if you ask me, to think you live on a globe. Love ya.
Well, it's really simple. For thousands and thousands of years, all the ancients used a sundial to tell the time. Okay? Now you have to remember this. They even taught you this in school, that the sundial was used to tell time. Now, if we use a ball, a spinning ball, and the sun, it doesn't work. But I'm going to show you how this works. Check this out. It's really simple. Okay? Hold on just a second. Okay, we're going to use this pencil right in the center of the Earth at the North Pole as our sundial. And I'm going to show you that why this says time calculator. Now, let's say this is the sun, and remember the sun revolves around the Earth clockwise. So here's our shadow from the sundial in the center of the Earth. Now, as the sun makes its rotation, watch what the sundial does. What's it do? It tells the time. 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. As the sun makes its circuit, that's how the sundial works. You see where I'm coming from? Now when it's dark over on that side of the Earth, it's light over here. You see, the sun has to make that circuit to make that sundial work. It's really simple, guys. Really simple. That's the only way it can work. The sundial does not work on a spinning ball. So if it doesn't work on a spinning ball, then that should tell you that the Earth's flat. Either the Earth is not flat, and for 5,000 years people were telling time the wrong way. And I don't think that that's very possible at all. Thanks for watching, guys.
Like when I say the Earth is flat, you don't put that flat Earth into the current solar system that they gave us. So there's not all these planets floating around the sun in space when we're this flat thing, and none of that exists, right? So
just to mentally picture this. So we got the flat Earth. Let's just use an example, like a plate, and where the sun just revolving
a circular plate, like a pancake. You got a small local sun and moon, which are identical in size, just like both books say they are, and they rotate around. So wherever the sun is, that's where it's going to be daytime, right? And it's not big enough that it's going to light the whole world, so it has to make its way around. And then there's a dome covering us. It's called the firmament.
One of my friends sent me a series of videos that had this and this, and they're like, why isn't that in the Bible? And I was like, it's in my Bible. Over in the book of Genesis, right at the beginning. Bam! This is the pocket edition of the Catholic Study Bible that I was given for confirmation class 30 years ago. This is in here for historical information so that we know how the ancient Hebrews viewed the world, because they talk often about the firmament and the floodgates being opened in the book of Genesis.
Let's check what nonsense the guy who stole Ace Ventura's hairdo has for us today.
The Earth is free-falling through a dark and frictionless vacuum.
That's a direct contradiction to what NASA says about space.
Effects of the solar wind. The wind speed of a devastating Category 5 hurricane can top over 150 miles per hour, or 241 kilometers per hour. Now imagine another kind of wind with an average speed of 0.87 million miles per hour, or 1.4 million kilometers per hour. Welcome to the wind that begins in our sun and doesn't stop until after it reaches the edge of the heliosphere, the solar wind. Now imagine another kind of wind with an average speed of 0.87 million miles per hour, or 1.4 million kilometers per hour. Welcome to the wind that begins in our sun and doesn't stop until after it reaches the edge of the heliosphere, the solar wind.
Space seems to be pretty windy with winds of 1 million miles per hour. And that's just our sun. But NASA says there are 200 billion suns in our galaxy. So, Peter, what's going on here? Who is lying? NASA, you, or both? By the way, what happens when you get to the edge of our solar system? Do you fall?
Yeah, we can. We can go to a lake and prove it. Okay, this is what makes me think that NASA is lying to me. I remember when I first got born again years ago. I got saved, and I become religious, and I started reading the Bible. And then I read something about the firmament, and I didn't know what it was.
That's what the Bible used to call like space, like what's outside.
That's what some people say, and the reason why a lot of us don't look more into flat Earth is because when it is brought up, we're fed propaganda. Like for instance, you see like a pancake Earth out of space, then you hear somebody talking about it. That's not what we think. We don't think that. But that's what the image is that's fed, and then they mocking like flat Earth and telling us why. Well, if the Earth was flat, then gravity would pull everything to the center. All this propaganda. Okay, so when I learned about the firmament, I went back. When I heard about the firmament, I went back to the Bible and I said, "Oh yeah, this is what it is." I didn't know what it was, and I remember the Bible saying it's separate the waters from the waters. Then I looked up the word firmament, and I looked up the old word. You got to look up what the old word is and stuff like that. And then I figured out what that was, and then that sent me on my journey because it was hard for me to believe. And then I wasn't believing. I was just all conspiracy until I came across this one video of this guy talking about emergency landings, and this is the one thing that tipped me over to believing the flat Earth, and for a few reasons. I remember this older white lady that was talking about racism in America, and she was talking about how our continent is shaped different. Some continents are bigger than what they put in the maps. So she said they mess with the maps and how thing is, and then this guy was talking about emergency landings. He was saying that one time this Asian lady was coming from Asia, I think Taiwan or somewhere, flying to LAX, and she was pregnant, but she was lying about how far along she was. So she got on the plane anyway, and then she started giving birth on the plane. So they had to make an emergency landing from Asia to Alaska. And if you pay attention to where Alaska is on the globe, that is not an emergency landing. And then his roommate was like, what's going on? He said, man, I can't figure out how this is emergency landing when they're coming from Asia going to LA, and they stopped in Alaska all the way over here. Like, why? How is that an emergency? Why did they stop there? Then he said, oh, that makes perfect sense on a flat Earth map. Then he pulled up a scientific, real flat Earth map from 1800. The guy was like, what is flat Earth map? He said, the United Nations logo. They use it. They throwing it in our face. The map that we use is wrong. It's different. They changed it. This is the actual map, and you can look up in the encyclopedias. You can go and check one out of the library. It's a map it says like it's proven. It's a map, and it's scientifically proven. It's a fact that these are the maps that they use. It's a flat Earth map, and you have to fly over Alaska to get to LA. So
from Asia.
Yeah, but Alaska is right by us. It's not far up, but by LA. It's not west. Far. It's not more north than what we think. So like we've been lied to. So that is an emergency landing. Then I started looking to other emergency landings, and I started looking to like layovers and stuff like that. And a lot of stuff didn't make sense. Why they would fly all the way up here to change, then like the flat Earth map is totally different. Then once you kind of look into the flat Earth map, and then and when you fly across the world, and you know like the layouts and what the stops and stuff, then it kind of make sense. The flat Earth, and that's what took me over the edge, was that the emergency landings thing.
The flat Earth map dates back over 1,000 years. This map is credited to being created by a Persian astronomer. His name was Al-Biruni, and he lived between 973 AD to 1048 AD. It's the official map of the United Nations and also the United States Geological Survey. It used to be present in many places before the creation of NASA and the Antarctic Treaty in 1959. Here you see it with Admiral Byrd. This map has been restored by Dmitry from Russia with suggestions of mine, Eddie Alenkar. Known by my YouTube channel Flat Earth Banjo, I asked Dmitry to include the Bermuda Triangle and Point Nemo, a place deep in the Pacific where NASA buries rockets. Then Robert Tozzi, a professional mapmaker, came along and enhanced the map even more. There are many people now selling this map online, but if you could order it from my online store, I would greatly appreciate it. Visit my online store now and order one of the items. I humbly thank you.